All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here, and we will get started. Thank you for allowing me to start a couple minutes late. We wanted to get everybody checked in. We will start with citation number 2206259 PSD regarding 103 North Greenbrook Loop. Inspector Thomas, I believe, has that. Yeah, no, he did. Yeah. Just 1 second.
Raise your right hand. You promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth? Will help you go up? I do.
All right, Inspector Thomas, can you give me an update?
Okay, my name is Inspector Thomas for the 2206259 PSD 103 North Greenbrook Loop. As of the premise was re-inspected on 12/23, and as of yesterday when I went out and re-inspected, no work or rehab was done to the property. So I recommend then that we just move forward with demolitions.
Okay, and are you Miss Garner?
I am.
Okay, tell me where we're at.
Well, I purchased the home through Civil Source and I'm paying taxes on the home. I was thinking I would just let the home go. So I'm going to reach out to find out what I need to do to get it all taken care of. So,
Okay, so when you say get it all taken care of, you mean
Clean up.
to move, okay, not to move forward with demolition. You want to clean it up and keep it?
yes.
Okay, let me look at something real quick. It looks like this has been pending for quite some time, like a year. When did you purchase it?
I purchased it like 2-3 years ago.
Okay, so why are we here a year after the initial citation with no work being done?
Because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the property. So moving forward, what I'm going to do within 90 days is get everything taken care of. So that way I can resume with the property. And this is my first time doing it, so I was a little lost on the steps to take.
You were what? I'm sorry.
This is the first time I mean purchasing a home with Civil Source of knowing which direction to take. Okay. Sorry about that.
Thank you. I thought it was just my ears.
It's not. I just never been in court, so it's new to me.
Inspector Thomas, and looking at some of these photos that you had provided previously, there's a lot of, it looks like greenery and shrubs and a lot of, well, yeah, you can see it on there. Has any of that been taken care of?
As of yesterday, no, ma'am. Everything is still the same.
All right, Miss Garner, right?
Yes.
It's hard for me to not order it demolished when we haven't even mowed.
Okay. So is it a fee for you guys to demolish, or is that
Yeah,
something
it's
I
at your,
can get
it's at your
done?
cost, yes.
Okay.
I think my inclination is to give you 60 days to come back on November 17th.
Okay.
But I need to see significant progress. I don't want to see the shrubbery. I mean, there needs to be significant progress or I'm going to have to order it demolished.
Okay.
Okay. Let me make sure I'm getting the correct date.
This is 17 cases. What's that date for November?
It's the 16th.
November
16th.
16th for court.
Okay.
It's just 17
Yes.
cases, okay?
All right. I'm gonna give you until November 16th, which will be the next environmental court date where I'm presiding as hearing officer.
Okay,
Inspector Thomas, I hate to ask you to go out one more time, but if you'll go out one more time closer to that date and see if any progress has been made. But Ms. Garner, something needs to be done.
Okay.
I can't, it's not like this has only been pending a couple months. It's been pending for quite some time. So we got to get moving on it. So I'll give you until the November date for environmental court, and then hopefully we'll see some progress and be on our way. Okay.
yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
All right, the next matter we'll call up will be matter number 230174 PSD regarding the address 6308 Southern Avenue. I believe Inspector Bolden, that's yours. All right, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Let me have,
I do.
all right, let me have Inspector Bolden give me an update, and then I'll ask you for one.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
I'm Inspector Derek Boulder for case number 230174 PSD. Address is 6308 Southern Avenue. I went out yesterday to do a updated inspection on the premise, found that there has been work done since the prior time that we had this case before. Spoke with what's your name?
Sonia.
Miss Sonia here, and we came to an agreement to try and work something out because she has made some progress into getting the building rehabbed.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear. All right, Miss Moore, right? Is that your last name?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have anything to add from that?
No, I'm still working on it. This
Okay.
is something that's been in my family for a long time, and I'm really under my mom to kind of get it reopened.
Okay, great. Well, I think that if our inspector is satisfied with where we're at and the direction we're going, and you're still working to get it rehabbed, I'm happy to give you some more time. I don't want you to lose a family home if you are working in the right direction. I think let's bring it back in January for a status. That'll give you a few months to kind of get some more done. Is that agreeable to you,
Agreeable with
Inspector?
me. I
Okay.
was thinking the same as well.
Say that again.
I was thinking the same as well.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll bring you back in January. I don't have those dates confirmed by council yet,
Okay.
so we'll make sure we get you notice of that. Tell us a good address for service, just so we make sure we have the right one.
Well, you can to the home address. Does it matter?
Yeah, will you get mail sent to that address?
No, let me give you my home address.
Okay,
6605 Virgo Drive, and that's Shreveport.
okay,
Okay.
perfect. I just want to make sure we get you the right date. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got it.
Supervisor Jackson.
Mhm.
She raised her hand. I don't know.
Oh.
Supervisor for the property.
Supervisor Jackson, was there a hand up that I missed? Oh, you can come up. Oh, no, she says no. Okay. All right. We'll move on to the next case then. Matter 2302159 PSD regarding 1822 Midway Street. I believe that's Inspector Graham.
Good morning.
Good morning. Do I have a property owner or anybody?
Yes, he
Okay.
went to go get him, said he stepped out.
Okay. Okay, that's okay.
I do.
All right, Inspector Graham, where are we at?
Good morning. My name is Charles Graham, Inspector of Record for case number 202159 PSD. Municipal address is 1822 Midway here in Shreveport. The initial inspection was on 2/24/2023. The property was written up for a demolition and a care premise. We've since had a contractor go out and clean the property, remove all the overgrown vegetation, and there was also a dilapidated storage building in the rear that's also been removed. As of yesterday, photos, when I went out to take photos, the property owner was on site at the time, beginning to start working on the structure. The structure is in such a condition that it can be repaired. The roof is intact. There's a new roof on it. He said he has purchased new windows and doors. He was beginning to work on that rear porch area and the front porch area. He does have some foundation work that needs to be addressed. He said that was
Next up.
forthcoming.
Okay.
So where we stand today, I would like to just allow the gentleman the time to go ahead and complete the rehab work because the structure is in such shape that it is worth being saved.
Okay. Wonderful. And sir, would you state your name for me?
Yes, ma'am. Clint Harris Coleman.
Okay, perfect. Is everything the inspector, excuse me, is everything the inspector said correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we got a new roof on it,
New
working on,
roof, new pane windows. I have the receipts as well of everything that we purchased. So it is in the process. I explained yesterday my mail. I never got my mail of the citation in February.
okay,
And then when I went to the office, I asked for an extension to, get
To do
my
the appeal.
address correct and stuff. So
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
okay. Seeing as that there is progress being made, it sounds like it's pretty significant and you've made this a priority, so I appreciate that. And I know your inspector does as well. Are you okay with us setting this in January too, Inspector Graham?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's set this one in January to come back. Like I told the last person, we don't have January dates approved by council yet. So is the service address that we have good for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. We will make sure you get service that way, and we will see you back in January with your progress.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, well, appreciate it.
Thank you, Inspector. Thanks. All right, the next matter we'll call up, it'll be 2302104 PSD regarding 1320 Oxford Avenue. Inspector Ray?
I do.
I do.
All right. All right, Inspector Graham, will you state your name and tell us where we're at?
Inspector Ray.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am, no problem. Inspector Ray for case 2302104 PSD. I have spoken with the property owner concerning the property. And I have an estimate, a current estimate on for the repairs to be done on the work.
Say that last part again.
I have an estimate
Okay,
concerning the work that will be done on the property.
okay,
And I request that 30 days extension be granted to them
okay,
to monitor the progress of the work.
okay. And ma'am, will you state your name and tell me your position?
Sure. My name is Jasmine Wilson. I am a family member for the property that's owned, so it's not in my name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is what Inspector Ray said correct?
Yes, that's correct.
You want a 30-day extension? I just want to make sure our docket wasn't too full for October. Okay, if with all parties in agreement, then I will give 30 additional days. I believe that you will have a different hearing officer. I think hearing officer Davis will be in for the October date. But that's going to be October 18th. Okay. So if y'all will be back here that day to report on any progress that's being made, obviously, we want progress to be made and then we don't have to demolish things, but we've got to make sure that it's still happening. So October 18th, I think they'll get you a notice over there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, the next matter we'll call up will be 2302129 PSD regarding 1112 Wilkinson Street with Inspector Davis. All right, Inspector Davis, if you'll state your name and tell me your position.
I'm Inspector Billy Davis. I'm Inspector District B. This is case number 2302129 PSD. This was initially initialized in February of this year. And the previous owner was an elderly lady. She passed away. The house is already in a dilapidated condition when she was alive. So
Right.
she passed out. We're gonna move on to put in for a demolition. I received an email from Mr. Bazooka when he took over ownership, stating that he would start working on it and everything like that. I was willing to work with him, but I never actually talked with him.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let him explain what he want to do and his time frame of things that he's trying to do. He has done a little work to the property already. I only took pictures from the street because he has a guard dog
Okay.
inside there, so I wasn't able to
Okay.
gain access to the property yesterday.
Okay. All right, and sir, if you'll tell me your name and what your position is about the property.
My name is Joshua Bazooka, and I am the new owner of the house.
Okay.
Since I've taken ownership, I've already put a new roof, fixed a lot of stuff on the porch, demoed all the other structures, and cleaned up the property that was cited on the initial complaint, as well as a brand new electrical service. So I plan on just completely rehabbing the house inside and out. I mean, that's kind of what I do.
Okay. So you have you done anything with the inside yet, or have you just been focused on
Besides
it?
cleaning it out.
You have cleaned it out?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Lots of trash in there.
Yeah, I noticed
So
from the
actually,
initial.
I've secured the property, fixed the gates and everything like that. That is the brick that's fallen off the house. That's just a veneer. So
Okay,
I'm talking to a few brick contractors. I don't do that type of work.
okay,
Deciding on whether or not I'm gonna keep the brick or just knock it all off and go back with hardy board.
okay.
So,
Well, to me, it looks like there have been some significant repairs done, and based on your testimony, I think you're moving it pretty quickly. So I would be inclined to give you until January to come back and see how much additional progress can be made. Inspector Davis, is that agreeable with you?
Yes, ma'am, that's fine. Since he is doing what he needs to do, I'll work with him. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we will have you come back in January. Again, I don't have that date yet because City Council hasn't approved it. Let me make sure that we've got your good service address. Can you tell me your address for service?
2514 Cresswell.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, we've got that. So we will get you notice of that date once we know it. So be on the lookout for that. Keep rehabbing it. Keep a list of the things that you've done so that you can report back to me in January where we're at. Okay. All right. Thank you both.
I got enough paper for you.
All right, next we'll call up 2302173 PSD as well as 2302326 PSG, both in regards to 08 Karen Street. Inspector Wheatley.
I do.
All right, Inspector Wheatley, if you'll introduce yourself and tell me where we're at on the property.
I'm Inspector Eric Wheatley, pertaining to 2302173 PSD and 2302326 PSG. And address is 7108 Karen Street. So far, for the care premises, I'm going to abate that one because the property has shown that it's been cleaned up and stuff enough. But for the demo, it still stands because there has not been any work done to the home at all. So I'm trying to see, since it's the first time I've meeting the owner, see where is he going with this and stuff, and should we get more time or just go ahead and demo it down? I say demo it down myself though.
Okay, so Inspector Wheatley, you've not had a conversation with him, had the chance to do that yet? Okay. All right, sir, can you come up to the microphone and state your name and tell me where we're at?
Yes, my name is Liaquat Ali. I'm the property owner. I have been cleaning up the property, keep it clean, cutting grass and everything. I was trying to get the permit to start working, but I couldn't get the permit because the property standard has a hold on him. Then I went to property standard office, request them, and they release it. Then I tried to get the permit. The permit lady told me that I need to draw on a piece of paper to show what needs to be done. So I'm willing to get the permit. I'm gonna do the carpentry work myself, but I'm gonna hire a certified plumber and electrician to get the work done. I need to request to give me more time, possibly till February, to get everything properly done.
All right, let me I'm gonna review some photos real quick. I'm not inclined to give until February, given the status of the home as it looks now. I'm a little concerned about its safety, more than a little concerned. I want to give you the opportunity to fix it,
Okay,
but I need swift movement. So I think we're in September now. I think I would also add you to the November docket to come back and give me an update. I'm not saying it has to be in pristine condition by then, but I need to know what's happened, and we need some movement by November. Otherwise, we're gonna have to do something with it because it's in pretty bad shape. Okay.
do I need to come back in November?
Yes, sir. We'll give you notice for
Could you give
November.
me a little more time because I won't be here in this country in November and December.
Well, okay, hang on. We have a supervisor, so let me. I think she wants to say something. Let me go ahead and have her sworn, please.
So that's it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Your Honor, I would say if you're gonna recommend time, I would no more than 30 days. The house has been open for a while. As you can see, children are in school. Those children get up in there, they can get hurt. Since we had this on the docket, the only thing that has been done is the care premise part. So with that in mind, please consider that you have children out here that can get hurt. And I recommend only 30 days if you're gonna give them some time.
Okay. Well, given the fact that you said you're going to be out of the country in November, December, I'm not going to bump it until January. That I agree. That's too. I'm not doing that. Are you here in the country for the October date?
Say that again?
Are you here in the country and would be able to appear for October? What is our date? 18th.
No, ma'am, I'm leaving October 9th.
Okay. Then unfortunately, we've got a 3-month period where you're going to be out of the country, and I am very concerned that nothing's going to be getting done with the property while you're gone. So,
I haven't
What-
done anything to the property besides cleaning because I gotta have permit from city to start working. I couldn't get the permit because the property standard has a hold on him.
okay. What I'm going to do
Clean
is,
up property pretty much, but the people next door, it's a mechanic shop. They have a motors outside, transmission outside, tires outside, several cars outside. That doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the people next door. It's a mechanic shop. Something
so you're
needs to be
saying the
done.
neighbors have stuff in their yard? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yes, next door.
Well, and there may eventually be some type of property standards case against them. For now, all I'm looking at is your property. What I'm going to do is I'll give you 30 days. You'll have to find somebody who can be present for you. I'm not going to bump it to January or February. I'm not comfortable doing that. It's in bad shape. So we'll move it to the October 18th docket. Significant progress needs to be made by then, or we're going to be in a position where we just got to move forward with demolition. I'm willing to give you a chance, but it's like our supervisor said and like the inspector said, it is a safety issue. So 30 days that's really as much as I'm inclined to push it out. So we'll see you back October 18th, okay? With updates on how you've progressed, okay?
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you can see Mr. Harris if you need to get a permit, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor, for filling me in. All right.
Case number 9 is abated. Did go on the
Yes,
record.
yes. So we'll show case number 9 is abated, 2302326 PSG. Okay. Moving now to 190720708 PSD 2718 Myrtle Street, Inspector Davis. I just realized we have 2 Inspector
I did.
Davises.
Yes, I do.
All right, Inspector Davis, if you'll introduce yourself, state your position, and tell me where we're at on the home.
My name is Rashad Davis. I am the inspector over case number 190727708 PSD. No changes have been made to the structure. It appears that he has painted the structure from the previous time that I went out and the previous time before that I went out. No changes have been made to the siding. The edgings are still showing exposure to, inclement, to weathering and
Side
infestation, everything like that. And there's still holes on the side of the building, which also leads to exposure as well. There's no porch in the front, so I'm not gonna, go through details because
Sure.
it's self-explanatory. But yeah, no changes have been made to the structure, no upgrades or anything like that. And I still push for demo.
For demo?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. And sir, if you'll introduce yourself and tell me your name and what your position is regarding this home.
My name is Irvin Scroggins, and I didn't have the finance, ma'am, to start on that project. It's my parents' house, and I saved some money to try to get the utilities upgrade. Right now, I got a contractor I got to wait about 2 more weeks to put the money that I had saved up for the utilities to get put in. And I'm asking for extension, ma'am, at least about 30 days, that I can come up with enough money to get a contractor to do it for me.
The citation was originally issued in 2019. Is that correct? Inspector Davis? Was this, was this citation originally issued in 2019?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Ma'am, I wasn't aware of it, 2019.
You've been aware of it since at least 2020 though, right?
No, ma'am.
When did you become aware of it?
2 years ago. It had been 2 years ago. My brother was staying in this house, ma'am, and he left that house and left it in that condition. And when the mail started coming to my sister's house, ma'am, that's when I started finding out about it with the taxes, was behind, and I took on my behalf to start paying the taxes out of $7,800. So that's why I'm at with this house.
Mr. Scroggins, it looks like you were ordered to pay $500 plus fines and costs way back in May. What was any progress made on that? Did you make any payments?
No, ma'am.
Inspector Davis, what's your recommendation today?
My recommendation is to push forward for demo because there's a lot of deterioration that's beyond.
Because it's what?
It's a lot of deterioration, so I push forward for demo.
I think at this time, I'm gonna grant that. This has been pending too long. And I'm concerned about the safety of the home, and I'm very sympathetic to the economic issues, and I know that you've had some health issues. But I think we've got to move forward with the demo of the home. It's been pending a really long time. Do I have, a supervisor has a different opinion?
Ma'am, I just need 30 days.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
I'm willing to hear any
Good
other
afternoon,
opinions.
Your Honor. We're gonna recommend that you give him the 30 days for him to do what he needs to do.
Okay.
And in the 30 days, me and the inspector gonna go out
Okay.
and we're gonna inspect, because we may have to redo some things on this structure.
Okay.
So for now, we're gonna give him those 30 days to see what he's gonna do, okay?
Okay. If property standards is good with the 30 days, then I'll be willing to do that. Okay. So 30 days, which will be the October 18th date. Okay. Work with them and make sure you get it done. I don't want to see your home demolished or this home demolished. But it's got to be safe. I mean, that's really all I'm looking at here. Okay. Thank you to both our supervisor and Inspector Davis. All right. Okay, the next matter we'll call is 2207285 PSD 4741 McDaniel Drive. Inspector Mack?
I do.
All right, Inspector, if you'll introduce yourself and tell me where we're at.
Inspector Mack for District F for violation number 2207285 PSD. This location was originally initialized on July 11, 2022. We're in the latest continuance. Mr. Capers has made some minimal changes and improvements to the property, but it's still not in compliance to the point where I am truly satisfied where it comes into the city code ordinance.
Okay.
I did make a follow-up on this morning, which I did send to my administrative staff, that he has closed those windows up and boarded them up at the, I guess the 11th hour, we would say.
Okay.
But there are some issues still present, and I have spoken with Mr. Capers on this morning. He stated that he does have a contractor in lieu that is willing to get started immediately.
Okay.
We were willing to grant him an additional 30 days. In hindsight, I will recommend just the additional 30 days only.
Okay.
But the work will have to commence immediately to ensure that this project is completed, because we've actually been here before in regards to this, and I want to go ahead and move forward as we have been prolonged with this, and the neighbors are actually becoming a little bit more anxious than I in regards to the remedy of this issue.
Okay. All right. And I assume you're Mr. Capers?
Dana Capers, yes, ma'am.
All right. Tell me your position.
It was a misunderstanding on my part. I'm used to getting care premises And after speaking with Mr. Mack 3 times, and today for sure, it was a total renovation needed,
Okay,
which I did not fully understand.
okay,
So I called the contractor and he's gonna meet with me this morning.
okay,
He's already looked at the outside, but not the inside.
okay. So both you, Mr. Capers, and you, Inspector Mack, are comfortable with 30 days?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay,
I have a question. If the contractor comes out and it's gonna take longer than that, because there's electrical,
right,
HVAC, interior,
right,
and checking the plumbing.
right.
And all those contractors, separate subcontractors have to,
Correct.
and that's what I'm concerned with the 30-day. But if he inspects again and there's significant work, will the board give an extension for the contractors to finish?
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to get
Sure,
understand.
go ahead. Inspector.
I'm willing, if Mr. Capers and his contractors to me, in which he hires, can bring the exterior of the structure up into city compliance, I have no issues with the interior, as it would not be affected any further if the exterior is therefore brought up to code.
That's, I believe he can have it done in 30
Yeah,
days.
I think if
And
the-
I'll inform him today after the contractor meets.
Perfect. Yeah, I think if the exterior is up to code, and as you've probably seen this morning, is if we're seeing progress, we want to work with people and make sure that
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
moving
Yes,
forward in a positive way. So I can't speak for, if you come back in October, I won't be the hearing officer here. I think that'll be Hearing Officer Davis. I can't speak for her. I imagine though, if the exterior is handled and everything's up to code, then we're not going to have a problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am,
So-
that's my position.
Okay. 1 second before you leave.
Mr. Capers.
Oh, okay. Mr. Harris. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Contractors that you hire, make sure that they pull a permit.
Oh,
And that way,
Hmm.
when they go out and check the HVAC and the electrical, they will make sure that it's all up to code.
I need a release across the hall so they can pull it.
Speak with Mr.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Harris will get that for you. Okay. All right. So what we'll do in this matter is we'll bring you back on October 18th for a status
ma'am.
on where we're at. Hopefully we'll be all good to go from there, and they'll get you. Mr. Harris can answer any of those additional questions that you had. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you both. All right, the next matter we'll call will be 2304268 PSD 4043 Elliott Avenue. Again, Inspector Mack. Perfect. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, I do.
All right, Inspector Mack, if you'll introduce yourself and tell us where we're at.
Inspector Mack for District F for violation number 2304268 PSD 4043 Elliott Avenue. This was initialized back on April 1st, 2023. As of September 12th, I have not seen any progressive improvements to the structure. The roof is continually deteriorating, so there is some additional damage that has occurred since our initial, maybe from the past storm and issues. And I have not seen any, this is my first time having contact with the initial owner, and I have not seen any progressive work. At this time, I'm looking forward to move forward with the demolition protocols, but if the owner is able and viable to make a full rehabilitation to the structure within a reasonable time frame, I have no issues with allowing that.
Okay. All right, sir, and if you'll introduce yourself and tell us where you're at on the property.
My name is Billy Jenkins, and actually I have a question. I'd like to understand, the property is occupied somewhat. My brother is living there. So I'd like to understand if this falls under the jurisdiction of code enforcement.
Well, I don't think that I don't think that whether or not it's occupied releases jurisdiction. That actually raises my concern significantly. Do you own the home?
I am one of the owners. This is our family home.
Family home, okay. Is there a reason your brother did not appear here today?
No, actually, I'm not, no, I'm not sure why he didn't appear here today.
Okay. Have y'all spoken about the status of the home?
Yeah, yes, we have, and but my plan is I'd like to have it repaired and brought up to code. But I will need time to do that.
Okay. How much time do you think you need?
I'm just based on what he described, by 90 days or the January timeframe would probably be significant with the, or sufficient for the contractor.
Inspector Mack, can you tell me again the status of the roof? That's one of the more concerning parts for me.
Yes, ma'am. It actually, the rafters as well as the condition of the roof do need to be fully replaced. But as I stated, the structure can be rehabbed. There's not too much significant damage as far as it needs to go immediately into demolition.
Right.
But further prolonged neglect will cause it to
Right.
be so. Yes, ma'am.
And I agree with your assessment, and looking at the photos and preparation for today, I thought the same thing. It's not beyond all hope,
Yes, ma'am.
but I do think the roof is a problem.
There are some foundational issues as
Okay.
where that line is, and then at the rear of the structure, there are some foundational beams that do need to be replaced or shored up along with the ones that are existing. But as I stated, I am willing to work with Mr. Jenkins in regards to rehabilitation if he has a scope of work already in place.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see us give him an opportunity to fix what needs to be fixed. I don't think off the bat I'm inclined to give till February. We've got some cold months coming, and apparently there's someone living in the home. So I think that my inclination would be to give you 60 days to come back in November. Hopefully, I mean, this is not the busiest time of year for roofers, so hopefully, because we're not in spring storm season, that's about the extent of my weather knowledge. But I think priority number one seems like it needs to be getting a roof put on that place. And is that
Yes,
correct,
ma'am.
Inspector? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you back, sir, on November 16th. I'm not saying it needs to be in perfect condition by then, but we need to see some improvements. I would recommend starting with the roof. That's, as the hearing officer who will be here in November, that is the thing I'm going to be the most concerned about hearing an update on. So I would recommend immediately going and trying to get bids on a roof. I don't know if you have insurance on the home, whatever you need to do to try to get that roof repaired. Okay. But we'll bring you back in November.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank you. ma'am.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right, the next matter we'll call up is 23. Oh, do you want me to give you a minute, Inspector Matt? Okay, I'll go to another one. All right, the next matter I'll call up will be 2303185 PSD along with 2303346 PSG regarding 2800 Poland Street. That is Inspector Davis again.
Yes, sir.
All right, Inspector Davis, if you'll introduce yourself and tell us where we're at on the property.
Yes, ma'am. I am the inspector over 2303185 PSD. We're doing PSD, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
I
right,
called
just wanted
both
to
of
make
them,
sure.
so yeah.
Right now, they have added to the rear of the structure. They have made upgrades to the rear of the structure. But given the rest of the structure, there's still exposure to the siding. There's still exposure around the window. The overlay there, that needs to be repaired, but work need to be added to that so that it can protect the skeletal structure of the roof. Also, there's a lot of siding boards exposure down around the rear, down around the bottom of the house, and pretty much a lot of it's a lot that needs to be taken care of. If they are willing to work on the structure, I'm willing to give them 30 days and to see progress to be made, some paint on there, some boards added to it, making sure the roof is protected as well, so that, nothing happened to the neighboring structures around them.
Okay. Ma'am, will you introduce yourself and tell me your position with all this?
My name is Renee Jewett. My company owns the property. We are actively working on the property. We've had a electrical upgrade done to it, and we're actively working on it. It's having siding. I may need a little bit more than 30 days, but they're actively working on it right now.
Okay. And you said siding is the next thing that y'all are
Yeah,
working
they
on?
started on the rear where the exposure was, so now they'll be going, so that's why you see stuff there, because they're actually working on it.
Okay. Yeah, I think, obviously exposure to the elements is one of the major concerns. I think that what I'm inclined to do, given the inspector's recommendation, is give us 30 days to come back for a status update. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if we need to see movement. I understand that in 30 days, it's not going to be all completely done, but I do want to make sure we're moving forward on this one. So we will bring you back for the October 18th docket for a status. Inspector Davis will probably be in touch with you before then. He'll come out to look at the property and see where we're at. And as long as we're making good progress, we'll be okay.
If there's any progress being made beforehand, she can reach out to me and I'll go out there and monitor everything.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have to wait until like the day before or, until Inspector Davis goes out there. You have his contact information presumably, and you can reach out to him if you have updates, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. We'll see you back in October.
Okay.
That was on 11. Okay. All right. Inspector Max back in here, so I'll go ahead and get these people out. All right. Next, we'll call up 2304291 PSD regarding 5701 Broadway Avenue. That's another case with Inspector Mack. All right, Inspector Mack.
Inspector Mack for District F, violation number 2304291 PSD for 5701 Broadway Avenue, which was initialized on 4/25/23. As of September 12th, there was no significant structural improvements that were visible. I did speak with Ms. Washington previously, and she did state that she did plan to save the structure and she just needed a little bit more time. I did advise her I did need a viable scope of work and a time frame in which she would need. And she said she would get with us as far as filing the appeal and explain in front of the court what she needed and how much time.
Okay. All right. And I assume you're Miss Washington? Okay. Speak into that microphone for me and tell me where we're at and what you need.
It's a long story. Okay, short and sweet. My dad passed about 3 years ago from cancer. I'm the fifth child. I'm the baby. I'm last. I have other sisters and brothers. And he has a sister. My dad has a sister and a brother. I just found out yesterday that their house next door got knocked down. It's like the house is in limbo. He left it for me, but my other sisters and brothers are fighting for it. And then my aunt and my uncle are fighting for it. The 4 or 5 houses have been a family for the last 50, 60 years. I'm the gap that's stopping them from having all of it. Because on the left side, my uncle own it. On the right side, my uncle ain't on it. They want the middle. Okay. I've offered for them to pay me or pay the, what's the word when you outline the property? When you get it.
For a survey?
Yeah. My uncle built property on my property.
Okay.
I've discussed with him. We went over it. Get the guidelines done so you can buy it, you can have it. But help me help you so we can help each other.
Right.
Said, no, this is my house to do what I want to do. Okay. So I said, well, then y'all want the house? Y'all help me or y'all pay me out. Mm-hmm. Don't nobody want to do nothing. So I've learned that I need to get a succession after death.
Yep.
But I can't get a succession because it's 5 of us. I'm the baby. It's a 30-year gap. We have no connection, no nothing. Some live in California, 1 live in New Orleans, and 1 is in Las Vegas. It's like, it's just, but if they were to give it to me and I gained all ownership, I would start working on it. Right. But I look at it like this. If I'm putting money into the house and then y'all take it from me,
Yeah.
I got a child that's in college.
Sure.
So it's a mess.
Yeah.
So my first thing, and I have what my mistake was while he was sick, I didn't get the house put in my name when he died. I just kind of left it like it was. I've been paying taxes in his name and just left it like it was because it wasn't bothering me.
Right. Out of
So,
sight, out of mind. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's just in limbo. I don't know what to do, what not to do. But if I gain and I can be able to get all control by January and February, I will make my decision if I'm going to completely tear it down or if I'm going to rehab it. But I can't see myself dumping all the money and then I don't get rehab back. It just get taken away. And they're not willing to work with me.
Right.
They don't want to help me. They don't want to go in half. They just want to take it. And I feel that's not right.
Right. No, I understand your position for sure. Inspector Mack, do you have any response to that?
Actually, at this stage, the first step we really need to rectify is the succession. Because if the
I
succession
agree.
cannot be accomplished at its current state, we will have to go ahead and move forward with the legal protocols that are in
Yep.
place. But the succession, we can't really help her at this stage based on the succession not being filed or in motion at this point.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I think we got something in front of us before we can even really get to where we're trying to go.
Right.
So my recommendation, and this is not legal advice, but is that you probably need to get an attorney to try to sort out the succession. That it will be money well spent because you'll be able to clean all of this up. So I'm going to say, why don't we come back in October? Am I adding too many? Okay. Yeah. Come back in October to tell us at least if you have an attorney, kind of where we're at. Has something been filed with the first JDC? What needs to be done there?
Question. If I was to get a demo, like how will it go? Or we don't know.
What do you mean? How will it go?
Can't. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not in a pit. We can't even get to that question yet.
Okay.
Because we have property owner issues. Yeah. Okay. So we'll come back in October. In the meantime, your homework is to go get an attorney, or start the succession. I mean, you can do that without an attorney. I always recommend one, but, and so we can get the property ownership straight and then we can move from there.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If she called the office, we can at least give a legal aid.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That is everybody that was originally checked in. Can I take this one?
Yes.
Okay. We heard 11 and 12, right?
Yes. We got it.
Okay. All right. The next matter that we'll call up will be 2209359 PSD 4008 Adrian Street, again with Inspector Mack. Whenever you get done.
Yes, I do.
All right, Inspector Mack, let's have an update.
Inspector Mack for District F, violation number 2209359 PSD 4008 Adrian Street, which was initialized on 09/12/22. As of September 12, 23, there has been minimal changes to the structure from our last appearance, where the rear steps were reconstructed, and there have been significant work on the outside, but there are still some issues in which has to be addressed, including the electrical panel that still has not been reinstalled.
You said there has been significant progress outside?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They have redone the porch and the facial boards on the outside,
Okay.
and the upper area flashing of the front porch has been replaced. But on some parts of the exterior still are exposed. There are some plumbing pipes issues at the undercarriage of the structure that still need to be replaced. They're still protruding. There's still the electrical panel box and a meter that needs to be reinstalled that has not been at this point. I spoke with Ms. Collins on Tuesday, and she stated her husband was on the property, but we did not finish our conversation because she was trying to reach him to see what state it was in. I was not able to access the interior of the structure due to it was locked from a security door, and the rear structure was secured at the time. So I'm not aware of what the interior of the structure looks like at this point. My recommendation is that at this point, if no more than 30 days will be our final extension on this matter, to go ahead and put this to bed.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right, thank you, sir. Mr. Collins, I assume that's you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me where we're at.
Well, I have, on the outside, I have, did all of that new. All that. been
Right.
replaced. On the outside, the side, with the opening that on the side, I'm having plumbing did. What the issue was, the city had, right there. That's where they got to go in and go up under the house and do the plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
The city had to come out when got the water in my name, and they had to come out and put a meter. They had removed the meter in 2019,
Okay,
so they couldn't find the meter where the water was. So they had to come out and dig and put me a meter. So I done played the plumber to do the water. And for the outside, I pretty much the electric meter, put that on there also. Right there.
yeah, I see, I see,
So I've been doing work on the property constantly.
Yeah, it does look to me like significant progress has been made, yeah.
I done put a door on the back door, the steps, did the steps. On the inside, I'm working on the inside. I mean, so I'm constantly working on the house, trying to get the house up to standard. You know, due to my health and money issues,
Right,
you know.
sure, it takes a little time, I get it.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that you can have those final tasks accomplished in about 30 days?
I don't think so. For as money wise, and I'm doing all the work myself.
Right.
I don't have a contractor. I don't have no help. Cause I can't pay nobody to help me do the work. Ain't nobody gonna work for free.
Right.
And so I'm doing all the work myself.
Inspector Mack, you look
I
like you want
am
to say
making
something.
progress, constant progress on the property.
Okay. Inspector Mack, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
If Mr. Collins can ensure that and we have a city permit pull to ensure that the electrical is finally stamped and approved, as well as the plumbing, I have no issues to go ahead and abate the violation as far as the exterior, because the interior should be secure. There's a new roof and there's no exposure to the outside elements. Therefore, if he can finish those two tasks, I have no issues with moving forward with closing this violation. But we just want to make sure that the electrical is fully operational and that the city has approved and the water department has done their part to ensure that the plumber is able to do what he needs to do.
Okay. Here is what I'm inclined to do. It looks like in May, y'all were here in front of Hearing Officer Davis, and you, Mr. Collins, had said that you would need about 5 or 6 more months to make progress back in May, which is about the timeline that we're looking at now. And I recognize that you have done a good bit of work on the property, especially I know you've had some health issues and money issues are always there. And you specifically with you doing all this work by yourself, I know that is hard, especially with health issues. I think what I'm inclined to do, I've said a lot of stuff on the October date today. So I think what I'm inclined to do, this would be 6 months from that original May date, is give you until November. However, I want as soon as possible for you to get the permit, the permits that Inspector Mack just referenced over to him. And so we may be able to handle this earlier and get this all resolved. I do really, for purposes of not overloading our October docket, because I don't want Hearing Officer Davis mad at me, we'll set this for November. But as soon as you can get those permits, get them to Inspector Mack, and then we can have this all handled. I appreciate how much work you've done on the property. I know Inspector Mack does too. It's a lot. So we'll bring you back on November 16th But again, if you manage to get those permits in the next 2 weeks, just send them over to Inspector Mack and we can be done with it, okay?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
All right, is that agreeable to everybody? Inspector Mack, you
Yes,
comfortable with
ma'am.
that? Okay,
That's totally agreeable.
all right.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, y'all.
You're welcome. Have a good day. All right. You're welcome. All right. Got 16.
Since Miss Mack is already up, I think we have 15.
Oh, was 15 here?
Did we do 16?
We haven't
No,
done
we
16 yet.
haven't.
Yeah, we need to do that one first. Okay, we'll call matter 2303238 PSD, the matter of 5104 Truman Street. Truman Street, 5104. And take your time, Inspector Mack. We can be at ease.
Say Truman.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, 5104 Truman Street. All right, we'll get y'all sworn.
Gentlemen, here, raise your right hand.
All right, whenever Inspector Mack's ready, I'll have his update, then I'll get yours.
1 second, y'all.
Okay.
We had an issue with our, only one of our photos came through.
Sure, no problem.
Inspector Mack for violation number 2303238 PSD for 5104 Truman Street. It was initialized on 3/14/23. The structure, this is the only picture that actually came through, and that was due to technical issues.
Okay.
But the structure has not had any, I see the frame of the structure and the front door was changed, but other than that, there has not been any structural progress. There are damage to the rear, the side, and the storage structure in the rear. I received a initial call from one of the listed owners in regards to they were working toward rehabbing the structure, but I have not seen anything since that time frame of early March or April. But the structure is not a total loss from what I'm seeing, but there is significant damage, especially at the foundation area and the siding area of it.
Okay.
Mr. James may be able to pull that up for us and let us see.
The pictures you're trying to pull up, are they from the recent inspection?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I was about to say, because I have printed from April. While we're doing that, or did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Ma'am, I am willing to work with the owner if they have a viable, as I stated before, with the other infractions, that if we have a viable state of rehabilitation and a move forward as soon as possible, or a designated time frame for it.
Okay. All right. Mr. and Mrs. Wheeler, I assume?
Speaking to
If you'll speak into that microphone.
Okay.
Kind of young, but my hearing's still not great.
Actually, during Corona, I let some young men stay in the house and they just destroyed it. I did not know it was like that. And one of the young men had a girlfriend and she came and burned his truck up in the yard. She broke every window in my house. She did some of everything. So I called the police, but They didn't do anything about it because they said she was 19 years old and he was 29 and he shouldn't have been gone with her anyway. They started pulling all the doors off the house. They cut the frame of my house, took my burglar bars off the door because I had burglar bar on every door, every window. And they just went through there and started breaking up everything. They went in, so I talked to the young man that I let stay there because he had so many people in there. You would have thought the carpet on the floor was a black and mild carpet because they had everything overflow. So I went in there and started cleaning up some, and they left for a little while and they came back. They did something to the roof of the house. So they started coming in down through the roof, stealing everything out of my closet because I had left clothes and stuff in there because my daughter had passed away. So I went down and there with her two twins. And they just broke in and started stealing. And everyone come there, they just started stealing. They just stopped since this happened. And I didn't know I was getting notes on the house, and the young man across the street, when I came over there one day, he was telling me about the notes. So I started trying to clean it up. I cleaned up the yard and I picked up all the glass around the house. Well, he started repairing the wiring, and let me see what else happened. It's just a lot of stuff. He started calling people to work on the house that I didn't call to work on the house. And I told him it was too expensive. My husband was deceased. My friend here had a stroke and I was doing everything by myself. My daughter cannot work. They're checking on her now for disability, and she wanted the house, and it's just everything. I went down this morning, picked up trash that was out there so they could, the garbage people come back and pick it up. I talked to a young man last week. He said he'll start working on the roof for me because people that I was asking and having to do things, they was charging me a whole lot. And I don't work anymore. I'm retired.
Right, okay.
So
was that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But they supposed to start, I supposed to check on the roof so that he could start on the roof next week. But I wish that people would stop breaking in. But they let my nephew out of prison.
Okay.
They killed my brother about 12 years ago. And it just stunned me so bad, and he needed to stay somewhere. I wouldn't let him stay there because they actually say he broke out, but I don't think he did because when I took him to the Social Security office, they picked him up from the Social Security office, but before I could get back home from the Social Security office, he was back on my step again.
Okay.
So and
going on.
you see how the doors are, and that's a storage back there. I had put my winter clothes in the back and bring my summer clothes to the front, and they just tore the door down. They just got everything. It's
all right.
And I put a lot of stuff out in the front.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's it. So I just put everything out in the front, set it out in the front, and I had to beg them to pick them up for the trash people to come by and pick it up. And my daughter is on she's unable to work, and my son-in-law got in an accident from the city from the trash truck, and they haven't really did whatever they was gonna do yet. They wanted the house, they wanted to repair the house so they could have somewhere to stay. And that's why I was trying to keep it.
And and I read your letter that you wrote as well back in May.
Yeah.
You're also raising your grandkids. Is that still the case?
Huh?
Are you also raising your grandkids? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm very
And I
sympathetic.
talked to the young man the other day. He said he can kind of save the house. He can elevate the house, and I guess they went up under the house looking for copper and everything. I just didn't know the house was like that.
Okay.
And they just went in there and they just took a lot of clothes and
And part of
everything. So
part of what we're doing here is making sure you know what the problems are and what
Yeah.
needs to be repaired.
yeah,
Um,
I went down there and looked myself and,
Uh-huh.
and almost fainted. And the truck that the girlfriend burned up in the yard, I had to get that moved.
Okay.
He wouldn't even move that.
Okay. So it sounds like there's a lot going on here. And I recognize both from what you've told me and the letter that you submitted previously that it seems like no good deed goes unpunished, right? You tried to do a good thing and now they left your house in disrepair. So I certainly recognize that. I think that what we've got to do today is come up with a plan to make sure, because I don't want to see you lose your house. I don't want to see it demolished necessarily, but I also don't want to see it keep looking like this.
Me either.
I know
It
you don't.
wasn't looking like that.
So
It's because I have a house next door, but I had, since my nephew is home, I got to get it together. I'm getting together. I got to get him some furniture and let him stay in it because they actually let him out. They say they didn't because I called and they say he
was
snipped
supposed to be
out.
released. Okay.
But
well, if he's not working, maybe he can help you fix up some stuff, but that's just a suggestion. So it sounds like what you're telling me is that you have talked to somebody about getting the roof put
yeah.
in back.
I talked to
repairing the
someone
roof.
about the preparing of the roof.
Okay, and you think you're going to be able to hire that person to repair the roof?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And see, this is where I have a county Lowe's, and as I go, I let them. I go get stuff there and let them work with that, and then I pay them. But like I said, I'm retired, and I can't use all the money there because I gotta
you gotta live.
live myself.
Why don't we do this? Inspector Mack, let me ask you before I say something. Why don't you tell me what your thoughts are? If you have anything else.
At this stage, I am willing to work with Ms. Wheeler, but my position on any violation is that I need actual progress being made. And if we're gonna start with the roof, it needs to be immediate or within a short time frame, and we can move forward from there based on the progress that is made at that point. Because right now, due to the damage to the exterior sides and some of the other areas of the structure, the exposure to the elements is going to make the interior more
Problematic.
of an
Right.
issue. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And my suggestion for the rear storage is basically if it's not necessary, just to remove it because it is in significant damage and it has some more damage more than the house itself.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Ms. Wheeler, I'm going to have you talk to Mr. Mack. It doesn't need to be today necessarily on the record or any of that, but about whether or not you need to keep that structure in the back. It may not be worth keeping is what it sounds like. So yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the
Yes.
one you're.
Well, yes, ma'am, because I was listening to Ms. Wheeler and her financial statement, and I understand exactly being, you're
How we got here, yeah.
You don't want to drain all your resources on one particular thing. You want to mainly concentrate on the main structure, and that's what my focus is because that's where they'll be residing. The rear structure is not as important as the main structure.
Yes.
And I would rather concentrate on her resources and time towards the main structure than the rear.
Yeah. So let's do is we're gonna, Ms. Wheeler, I'm gonna tell you, obviously everything that Inspector Mack tells you needs to be fixed. But I think after talking to you guys, I think that the main priority is the roof. We want to protect the home from the elements.
Start on the roof first and then the windows, because every window broke. Cause she stuck, just went through there breaking all the windows, and she just broke all the windows all the way around the house.
So we're going to bring you back in November, November 16th. Okay. I would like to see a new roof on by that time.
16.
Yes, ma'am. That's, I'm on the fence between October and November, but again, I've set our October docket pretty heavy, so I'm gonna do it in November. But urge you to get it done just as quickly as possible. And stay in good contact with Inspector Mack so that he knows where you're at. And, you know, hopefully we can get this all resolved. I certainly understand all the struggles that you've had with this. And like I said, no good deed goes unpunished. So we'll try to get you fixed back up. So focus on that roof, and we'll see you back November 16th with an update, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Y'all have a good day. All right. Let me make sure are there any other property owners in the audience that I've not handled up yet? No? All right. Okay, since he's working on that. Okay. Then we will go through these that may have service issues. Next I'll call 2210394 PSD 1657 Ashton Street, Inspector Hayes. Inspector Hayes, I'm sorry, you've been sitting there all morning. All right.
I do. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
I'm here on case number 2210394 PSD 1657 Ashton Street. I am Lisa Hayes. I'm the inspector of record for this case at the moment when we wrote this up. I have not spoken to the owner of this property. He has not contacted me. When we first brought this case to court, he said he was going to do all this stuff and has not done anything. As of yesterday, when I went out and took the pictures, the only thing he's done is boarded up the front of the house and the back of the house. But he has not put not a stitch of paint, not a new board or anything on the house. Now, I would like to go ahead and recommend that it be demolished. If he does anything in the time frame that we try to get it demolished, then I will work with him. But I would like it to go on the record as being for us to go ahead and put it down that it needs to be ordered to be demolished. Is at the end of Ashton Street. It's a haven just for people to come in and sit down. That whole street is kind of like just going away anyway, but.
Okay. And it looks like the request was made to move forward with demolition by you back in May too.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he get service?
Well, we received the green card. P.O. box.
I'm trying to check and make sure we had good service on him.
We have a correct address.
In the timeline.
It's just not signed.
Well,
Also, if you notice, he filed an appeal from the notice on 1/12/23, so he knows it.
All right. Given the history of the case, how long it's been pending, and the fact that nothing really has been done,
yes, ma'am.
I'm going to go ahead and order the demolition.
Yes, ma'am.
Like you said, if he gets in touch with you and y'all work something out, then that's great. We can put it back on a docket and bring it back up here. But I think I'm going to go ahead and order the demolition.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like to be ordered. Thank you so
for your
kindly.
update.
All right, yes, ma'am.
All right. The next matter we'll call is number 1912272 PSD 2221 Henrietta Street. Inspector Billy Davis. Oh, yeah. That balcony is very concerning to me.
Yeah, I'm Inspector Billy Davis, inspector for case number 1912272 PSD 2221 Henrietta Street. I initially put this in back in December of 2019. And prior to that, I was watching it for a while because it was owned by someone. The interior caught on fire. So they did a lot of good remodeling. So that's why I waited for like a year or so to see if they're gonna come back and fix it. They never fixed it. They abandoned the property. And we were near demolition. Then a new owner stepped up probably about a year ago, saying that he was gonna do this and that, this and that. Only thing he's done, he's tore the back, there's a deck on the back and some stairs that went up to the second floor. He tore that down because it was rotting anyway. And he removed the pillars in the front of the house. They were rotting also. But it's just been looking like this for the last year. There's nothing been done. And I recommend to proceed with demolition because I don't want to. It's because the woman next door, she's really tired of the whole situation also. So
Yeah, and I will note also that in reviewing the pictures, I'm very concerned about that balcony.
yeah, me too.
Very concerned about that. There's a lot of problems with that house, but the
They
balcony.
they
I'm worried
did.
about
Only thing I
kids.
seen him do was, like I said, remove the stuff, the porch and the stuff like that. I guess he was calling himself trying to reframe the porch. I don't know if there's. I can't remember. Was that like that from the initial? He just tore some stuff away from it, but it looks like old wood. If it is new, I don't know what he done with that. I think he may put like maybe a facial board with some kind of cork type wood up there. It's not sufficient, but he don't have. I don't believe he has the resources to complete this project. This is a large house, and I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think he has what it takes.
Okay. I think, given the fact that this house is in such disrepair, I don't have an owner here to tell me what his plan is. He has not gotten with you, correct?
No, not within a year. Last time I talked with him, I called him in April and told him to come cut his grass. That's the last time I talked to him.
Okay. The homeowner has clearly not made it a priority. I have significant concerns about multiple things related to this house, so I am going to go ahead and order the demolition at the request of property standards. Thank you. All right. Next up, we'll have 2303194 PSD 5342 Kennedy Drive. And Inspector Mack again.
All right. Inspector Mac, District F, violation 2303219 PSD for 5342 Kennedy Drive. It was initialized on March 11th, 2023, but as of September 12th, 2023, I did recommend that we abate this property as the owner has moved forward and came into compliance. And contractors were actually in the interior of the structure while I was there at that time, and she has brought it all the way back up to where we needed to be. I have no problem with closing this particular
I agree
violation.
with that. I agree with that. And looking at the photos, it looked like significant progress was made. So I'll agree. Let's debate that. All right, that was easy. All right. And then the last matter I believe that we have to hear is 2304292 PSD. That is 5621 Broadway Avenue. Again with Inspector Mack.
Okay, Inspector Mack, violation number 2304292 PSD for 5621 Broadway Avenue. It was initialized on 4/25/23, and as of September 12, 2023, the owners hired a property contractor to demolish the structure. As you see, it has been removed fully, and I have moved to fully abate the violation.
Perfect. I would note the abatement.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much. All right. And I think let me check my docket. I think that takes care of every case on the docket. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of y'all today.